This episode of Talkin' About Rock is sponsored by Unleashed Music. Drawing on years of experience, contacts, and partnerships, Unleashed Music is uniquely positioned to platform, develop, and realize the vision of artists of all genres. Achieve your goals by partnering with Unleashed Music and take advantage of their decades of experience to help you create and execute your marketing campaign. Visit unleashedmusic.com for more info.
On this episode of Talking About Rock, Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Hello and welcome to this episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. Here we bring you rock interviews from veteran and upcoming artists. Subscribe on our YouTube channel to stay up to date. Follow us on our social media and our website, talkingaboutrock.com. Today's guest is a renowned guitarist, composer, vocalist, and producer. With a career spanning over 30 years, he is known for his groundbreaking techniques and his innovative guitar style. Coming up next, Ron Bumblefoot on Talking About Rock. All right, joining us now, let's welcome Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Hey, brother, how are you, man?
Good, very good, very good. I love your background. Look at that thing.
Appreciate it, man. So I've been checking out the new album, Bumblefoot Returns, man. Sounds amazing here. A lot of diversity, from metal to orchestral to blues. You got a little bit of everything going on here.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where if I'm in a band, I am just one slice of the pie, and collectively we have our sound. Just when everyone contributes, it just forms something, and you kind of stay in your lane and don't weird out too much. But when I'm doing my own thing, there's no rules, just whatever I feel. Every song is going to be different, and I think of it, I compare it to like a photo album, where it's like, here's all the things I did during the pandemic. And right. Each one is going to be something different. It's not going to be all the same look with the same attitude and the same place. No, it's all over the damn place. And the songs are kind of like that. It's whatever inspired me over time that turned into a song, and whatever vibe there was, and it just, no rules.
Yeah, some very cool stuff. You've got some iconic players on here with you, including Brian May and Steve Vai you got on here.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like they needed some exposure. People, and that maybe if, oh God, no, it's such an honor to have them on, and they're just wonderful guys, and of course amazing players, that does not need to be said. I didn't even plan on having guests. It's just that as the songs were coming together and forming, I realized that these songs needed something beyond me, something that I can't give. I could imitate, I could pretend, I could be a bad, poor man's imitation, but I wanted the real thing. The songs deserve the real thing. So that song Monstruoso with Steve Vai on it, when it kicks in and needed a guitar solo that sounded like it was from another planet, like just something, yeah. He's the guy to call.
Yeah, he's the guy to call. He's known for that, for sure.
Yeah, he can make the guitar sound like nothing else. So I asked him, you want to throw down? And he did. And then when I was making the song, Once and Forever, and it had all these melodies and harmonies and everything. And when the solo part came up and it had that melody going on in the background, and I could just picture like some kind of riffs right there. And there was only one puzzle piece that would fit to make it right. And so I asked Brian, and I said, you want to throw it down on it? And he said, yes. And he did a beautiful thing that exactly just all of them, every guest on there just took the songs and made them something more than I could make them. Something just, yeah, it's what the songs needed.
Yeah, they all did a fantastic job here. And I think a lot of people were wondering about the name, how you came up with Bumblefoot. So I had to do a little research on that too, I have to tell you. So I don't know if do you want to explain it to the folks? Because I think a lot of people are wondering how you came up with that, right?
Sure, yeah. My wife is a veterinarian. And when she was in school studying, this was back in the early 90s, and came across this ailment called ulcerative pododermatitis, also known as Bumblefoot. And it's something turkeys get, mostly chickens really, but just sounds funnier to say turkeys for some reason. So turkeys get it, and they get this big, shiny, bubbly wart in the middle of their hand, and one of the treatments for it was to rub hemorrhoid cream on it and wrap it in a ball bandage. And it was just so weird and silly. So I, being a weird and silly person, it spoke to me. And I wrote a song called Bumblefoot.
Right.
And then right around that time, I started getting on a lot of comp CDs of instrumental guitar music, and I wrote a song, Bumblefoot, and it was on one of those. And then when I signed the deal with Shrapnel Records and was going to do my first album, an instrumental guitar album, I told them, all right, I got this idea. The Adventures of Bumblefoot. And it's like all comic booky, and it's going to have this creature that's like a half human foot and half bee, like in the Brundlefly machine. And it's just a foot with black and yellow stripes and wings and a stinger, like some kind of alien superhero thing. And just all this destruction below, the ground opening up, burning buildings, dogs vomiting, everything. And every song was named after a different animal disease. The weirdest ones that I could find. Strawberry foot rot, blue tongue, all these weird diseases. So there you go. So we have a song, well, we have a disease that became a song, that became an album. At that point, I did 2 albums with Shrapnel Records. Then I started my own record label just to put out my own music. And I got distributors around the world and started doing that and putting out my own music, which was always vocal music. I sing, so I would just pepper the albums with a few instrumental songs here and there. So the rightful name for the band, because the music was pretty quirky, so Bumblefoot was a very fitting name for the band. Like when you hear it, you know that it's going to be something that doesn't take itself too seriously. And so became a band name, Bumblefoot.
Yeah, you've always been very adventuresome. I was reading you were multi-tracking. When you were 6, you were using a multi-track cassette recorder. You were doing like the 4-track mixing, bouncing, and stuff like that.
What I would do is I would use multiple cassette recorders and just, yeah. So I just figured out how to do it just using what you have.
Right.
And I would take a cassette recorder, and the guitars would be up close, the drums would be farther back, distance, volume, and then we would have the music on one, we would play on the other, while about 2 inches away have this one recording and put our faces right here and sing along, and then we would have the vocals on this one, and that's how I would overdub back and forth. So, Bumblefoot. So it's a band now, and I was the front man. I'm singing, playing guitar, I have the ball and I'm running with it. So over time, it just became like a nickname. So it went from a disease to a song to an album to a band to a nickname.
It's been all over, yeah, definitely. And I really like the opening track on here, Simon in Space. Just great cosmic ride for this. Tell us a little bit about that track, because I just love how it opens up the album.
Yeah, it really, it comes out swinging. I wanted it to feel like when you put on the album that you just woke up in a tornado, like you're just taking 10 seconds for your brain to figure out what's going on. And as I just was making the song, songs tend to write themselves sometimes. Like they go in their own direction and they sort of tell you what they need. And
right.
and
Sometimes you're in that groove right with it and it just comes, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the arrangement, just there's this instinct that you get where it's like, you know what, it should do this now, and it should do this now, and it should come down, and it should come up. And I've written a lot of music for TV shows and horror movies, video games. So when writing instrumental music, I tend to picture things in my head. And as this thing was coming together, I was really just picturing some kind of wacky space adventure kind of thing, of just chaos. Like, it opens up, and that's what I did with the music video. I started doing the animation myself over the course of a year, and thankfully someone that knows what they're doing, a good friend named Radek Grabinski, who has a video game company, he said, let me help you with this video, and he made it a million times better than the silliness I was doing with it. And yeah, so each part of the song, like, it should feel like you're dodging asteroids in the middle of some crazy video game, just chaos, and then it clears, and then where the melody is beautiful, just picturing like the background of your screen, like all these nice, lovely nebula and colorful things going on, and then more chaos ensues, and it just takes you up and down and all over the place. And Simon, if you're wondering, that's my cat. And if you look very closely at the album art, you'll notice that he's flying the spaceship.
Oh, he is. You're right.
That really is him. That's my cat Simon.
Excellent. All right, so cool. Yeah, let's take a quick break here. So we're going to check out the video and track for Simon in Space from Bumblefoot Returns. And we'll be right back here with the man himself on Talking About Rock. Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock. Just checked out the track Simon in Space from Bumblefoot Returns. Fantastic, man. Great stuff on here. And you've worked with so many outstanding musicians through your career. Billy Sheehan, Jeff Scott Soto, Mark Portnoy. Just to name a few of these heavy hitters, just amazing stuff that you guys that they've done and you've done with them.
Done a few things. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this almost 50 years now. It feels so weird to say that because I still think I'm like 19 years old. So
you're still having fun, yeah.
50 years fit into that. Yeah, so as you do it, your just circle of people that just grows, and it also just like whatever you're doing, they're doing it too, and it's like the people that you went to high school with, they're out there in bands and doing stuff as well, and it's just life. That's just how it all just happens. You stick with it, and things happen.
Yeah, and you've been listed as one of the best guitar players in so many different guitar magazines.
I pay people a lot of money to say that.
If we would go through that list, we would be here all day, and you wouldn't have time to do other stuff. But you've done some other things in your career that have had a lot of ups and downs, shall we say. You did some time with Guns N' Roses with the Chinese Democracy Tour. That seemed to kind of be a difficult endeavor back in the day. In the Guns camp, a lot of moving parts going on, a lot of weird things happening back then, right?
Well, yeah, life happens. Life is one big crazy roller coaster, and it should be. When you all turn 55 too, and you got your white beard and all, you should be looking back and saying, yeah, you want to have a life well lived, and that's got to have ups and plenty of downs as well. The downs are a good thing. You learn from them. They make you tough. They make you stronger. They make you smarter, and you can take what you learned and help other people with them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You've definitely come out on top on that. And how are you doing health-wise? You sound like you're doing great.
I think I'm good. We'll see if I wake up tomorrow. But otherwise, yeah, I think I'm fine. Yeah.
Excellent. And you have some other things going on here too. Also, you started a hot sauce thing here with Fiery Foods, and you're giving the proceeds to, I think, a women's health organization, right?
Well, this sounds terrible, but not anymore. I'll explain. But when I first started the hot sauce stuff, that was in 2013. And there was this wonderful company, K-John's Fiery Foods, that took me under their wing. And we had a line of 6 sauces together, and one of them called Bumble Babe. It was cherry and chocolate and delicious. And that one I was donating all the proceeds to women's health organizations. Not a lot of proceeds. I was just starting out, but still, you do what you can. And then the company sold, and I had to just rebuild and say, okay, I'm now the company, and I got my manufacturers and my distributors and the bottlers and the label makers and everything. So I narrowed down the line of sauces to just the 3 that people were buying most and liking most.
Sure, of course.
And that's what I got. So Bumblefoot's hot sauce. Unfortunately, Bumble Babe didn't survive it. I might bring it back at some point, and if I do, I'll donate again. Absolutely.
Excellent.
I think everybody, it's not everybody does what they can, when they can, and that's it. Whatever you could do, you do, and there's no right or wrong amount. Everybody is kind at their core and does what they can. That's all.
Exactly.
It's not anything unusual or special that I did.
Yep. Well, you got some other stuff coming up here. You got some dates coming up. We'll check out. You got February 20th to 22nd, Los Angeles for the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. You be there. March 20th to 22nd, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Whole lot of rock camp you got going on there. Then you got April 1st, I think, Washington, D.C., Earth to Space Festival.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so that's going to be with Tony Franklin, the fretless bass monster, Vinny Appice on drums from Dio, and much more. And my bandmate from Sons of Apollo and Whom Gods Destroy, Derek Sherinian, on keys. And yeah, we're playing the Kennedy Center. And then after that, we're going to go to the Canary Islands, and we're going to play the Starmus Festival out there. And that's going to be wonderful. Absolutely. The Starmus Festival is this combination of astrophysics and music. It's the most amazing thing. It's funny. I've been playing it a few times now, and it almost feels like this is why I became a musician. It's all my life I have loved astrophysics and music. And I mean, the first song I wrote when I was 6 years old was called Jupiter is Nice. I've always been about that. If I wasn't doing music, I would be into astrophysics, although I'm probably not smart enough to do anything, so I might just be staring at the sky all day. I don't know. But this festival, it's all astrophysicists giving lectures, the greatest minds giving all these lectures, and then in the evening, the musicians playing and put on a show. And then after all that, we're all hanging out at the bar on the rooftop and just talking all kinds of stuff. I'm learning about fission studies and experiments and just amazing things that just make me feel like, all right, this is why I became a musician. It wasn't to play the big stages, it wasn't to do this, it wasn't to do that. It's to play this festival. I absolutely love this thing so much. And it's called Starmus, S-T-A-R-M-U-S, starmus.com. Amazing thing, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds great, and it sounds like a perfect matchup for what you got going on here. Very, very cool. So definitely best of luck with you with the new album. You can check it out, Bumblefoot Returns. Folks, that wraps up this episode of Talking About Rock. Thank you to my guest today, Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Check out his new album, like I said, Bumblefoot Returns. It's out now. And you folks out there, thanks for tuning in and keeping the torch alive. And wherever you are, we hope you're supporting live music. Ron, thank you so much for being with us, man.
Thank you. Absolute pleasure.